Hey you, welcome to Sacrilegious Discourse.
I'm husband.
I'm wife.
And together we're reading the Bible.
Starting with Genesis and eventually ending with Revelations, we're working through every book and offering our atheist 2 cents.
Or shekels.
Yeah, those. We're asking questions and pointing out all the nonsense.
We aren't academics or scholars.
Nope. In fact, when it comes to religion, we really don't know anything at all.
What we've learned so far is that God's a dick.
Oh, he really is, isn't he? If you're interested in how we reached this startling conclusion, maybe start from episode 1.
Otherwise, jump in anywhere. It's all good.
Yep.
Hey wife, we just got a new sponsor. It's Anchor. They must think we're doing something right because they picked us back up.
That's amazing. Want to hear something even more amazing?
Yeah?
I actually know what they are.
You are full of shit. I'm calling your bluff. Tell me about Anchor.
Okay, so Anchor by Spotify is the easiest way to make a podcast with everything you need all in one place.
I'm actually surprised you knew that, but did you also know that Anchor has tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone or computer?
Yes, because I see you do that on your phone all the time and it looks pretty simple.
It really is, and when hosting on Anchor, you can distribute your podcast on listening platforms like Spotify and Apple Podcasts.
But I use CastBox.
Yeah, darling, I know you like CastBox. It gets distributed there too, and lots of other platforms as well.
And how much are we paying for this awesome service?
Absolutely nothing.
Coolio! So then we should tell people to download the Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started?
Yep, do it now.
Husband!
Wife!
It's Saturday Q&A.
It sure the fuck is.
Do you have some cues for this A?
I just remember this week was fucking nuts.
It was fucking nuts.
That's all I really got here. Like, Samson, what the fuck?
Yeah, we're gonna talk about him.
Okay.
I've got a little tidbit here and there and some fun stuff that we can talk about.
I just can't. I mean, like, I don't even have words for it. It's this was crazy.
It was definitely over the top.
Yeah.
I mean, I would say that this even goes above and beyond virgin birth that we haven't even got to yet.
Yeah, I don't know. That's pretty. I mean, it's a different kind of crazy, you know. Like this is donkey jawbone crazy,
right?
And that's never happened crazy.
They're both probably never happened crazy.
Right. But I mean, I don't know.
I don't know either.
I mean, it just seems a little less likely that God came down and put a baby in a virgin woman who was married, and then that was God and also his son, right. And then he killed his son. That just seems less likely than killing 1,000 people with a donkey jawbone. Right. But I mean, I'm just as far as rating likelihoods go. That's all.
Okay.
So
I see.
Yeah.
All right. Well, let's get into it.
All right, let's go do this.
Okay, so before we get into Samson's magical god power fight thing,
yeah,
we're gonna go
flashback.
Run it back a little bit.
Okay, all right.
Okay.
Yep.
So in Judges chapter 11, we
seemed like an eon ago.
I know. It was Monday though.
Right.
Okay. So we had mention of a god that we had we don't recall hearing about, right?
Shit, man, I forgot all about that already.
Yeah, I mean, we were like
Samson just kind of whatever,
Yeah. We were like, whatever.
Sure.
We don't care about gods.
Yeah.
But it was a question. I looked it up.
It was.
And I thought we'd briefly mention him.
Sure.
Okay, so his name was Chemosh.
Uh-huh.
And he was the god of the Moabites as well as the national deity of the Ammonites.
Ah, interesting. Okay.
And he was referred to as the abomination of Moab.
Probably not by the Moabites.
You know what? Some of them may have, because he was in general a deity along the same nature as Baal.
Oh, okay.
And sometimes they had human sacrifice.
All right.
So, I mean, they may actually have referred to him as an abomination, even as they were like, hey, you abomination, please don't curse us, or please help us out.
Got it.
You bad, scary God
hate
guy.
Relationship type thing.
Yeah. They also even might have built some sanctuaries for him, him, about him. I don't really know. Like,
so there was buildings that...
Yeah.
Like they had their own tabernacles for this guy.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Exactly.
Got it.
Probably where the sacrifices took place. I don't know.
Right.
I don't know about all that.
Sure.
So, okay.
So there's that god.
So there's that guy. He was probably also the same as Moloch or Malik. So they were probably the same deity.
Okay.
Or deity.
That was mentioned in the Bible too, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep. Moloch was.
Right.
So I just wanted to get that out of the way.
Yeah, no.
That was early on.
Definitely should have covered that, but, you know, like, then there was Samson, so, I mean...
So now we're going on to Samson. Okay?
Yeah.
Here we go.
Okay,
so in Judges chapter 14, I'm bringing this to our attention because I think we kind of forgot it.
Okay.
And it's actually important.
Okay.
Remember when... it was said that he was dedicated to God with a lifelong vow of a Nazirite.
Yeah.
And remember, I was like, what's the difference between a Nazirite and a Nazarene?
Yeah, it actually occurred to me the day after that Jesus is from Nazareth and not... Then you said...
But he is the Nazarene. He's referred to as the Nazarene.
Okay, all right.
Jesus of Nazareth is the Nazarene.
Right.
But Samson is a Nazarite. And I don't know
the distinction exactly.
Yeah, and I should have looked that up and I didn't. I guess that's a cue for another A or something.
Sure, I'm sure.
So the three main things that happened actually are in direct correlation to him being a vowed Nazarite.
Okay.
First, as a Nazarite, he was to not intermarry with any of the pagan nations around him. And the first thing he did was fall in love with a Philistine woman.
Right.
So that was bad.
Yeah. Okay.
Then he went to a vineyard, and he was supposed to have nothing to do with grape products in any form.
Interesting.
And then the lion, when he gathered honey from the dead carcass, as a Nazarite, he expressly violated his vow, which stipulates that a Nazarite should never touch a dead body or carcass.
Oh, and that's why he didn't tell his parents.
Yeah, because they would have been like, excuse the fuck out of you.
Right, and they definitely wouldn't have partaken in the honey.
Exactly. So he did all of these things that counteracted his vow, and yet God still utilized him. And
they didn't really make that clear.
No, they didn't. I mean... It's clear in retrospect once it was pointed out to me.
Sure.
I was like, oh yeah, Nazarites aren't supposed to do that, and that. And he did do that, and that.
Right.
But I had to look that up outside of the Bible.
Yeah, that's...
It would have been clear if you gave a shit and studied this shit religiously, so to speak. Or if you lived during that time, you would have been like, oh, excuse you, you're not supposed to do that. You're a Nazarite.
Right.
But for me and you sitting here reading it, it's like, oh yeah.
I mean, it's kind of
important.
Yeah, it is kind of important as far as like knowing where the story's coming from and everything. So, I mean, but yeah, I don't know.
I mean, these seem just like random things that were mentioned and we're like, what the fuck? Why? Who cares?
Right.
And actually these things were pointed out
for specific reasons.
To show that in spite of the fact that he was breaking his vows left and motherfucking right.
God still favored him.
Yeah. And gave him superhuman power.
Why?
I don't know. We're not there yet, though.
Okay.
So,
because God would have killed anybody. Like, even Moses would not have got away with this level of fucking bullshit.
No. Moses would not at all have got away with any of this.
I've got to say something here because I was on Twitter and somebody pointed out, a Christian pointed out to me that, Judges is where they show Christianity as everyone's failing and doing things wrong. And I'm like, okay, yes, that's fine. But at the same time, they also are right. God is raising people up, quote unquote, and making them leaders and siding and favoring them.
Yeah.
If he is doing that, and you can't really have your your cake and eat it too. You can't. God can't favor somebody and say, well, I don't like this, and this, because in the past you would have just killed the motherfucker.
Yeah.
Or not favored them, or sent them running from their enemies, or whatever.
Or buried them in lava.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. This is bullshit, because
it's not fair.
Essentially, Judges is telling me God does not fucking exist.
Or if he does, that he is not a just God.
Or a very, if, let's just assume that there was a God. If there was a God, he is in some sort of a very reduced capacity, because he is not acting like he used to act. He's not taking care of things like he used to take care of things.
Exactly.
And even at that, when he was taking care of shit, he was doing it poorly.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. It's very willy-nilly. And now it's more willy than nilly.
Right.
And very vanilla. So there's that. I have a little bit more.
Okay.
Nothing as powerful as that, though.
Right, right.
Just that he is a bad guy.
Samson?
Yeah, he's a bad guy.
I mean, I gathered that. He killed a lot of fucking people.
He did, but more than that, I mean... Okay, not per my moral code.
Yeah.
Murder is pretty much as
right
bad
up
as it
there
gets.
at the top,
right?
Yeah.
But for these people, worse than murder is he broke his moral code, his people's moral code.
So insofar as the community that he was from, he was a bad person.
Yes.
Got it.
So
he was bad all around.
He was bad all around.
And
even so. And I don't know if we're gonna find more as we keep reading, because I try to keep my research very much to just the chapters that we covered.
Right, because we don't want to spoil
anything. I mean, I didn't know anything about this stuff.
Right.
You know, I'd never read, I didn't know anything about what Samson does. I'd heard the name Samson and Delilah, and that is all I knew. Right. Is that they are a peanut butter and jelly.
Gotcha.
You know?
Yeah.
I mean, did you know anything about them?
No, I mean... no. Again, I think I've heard Samson and Delilah before, but that's about the extent of it.
Right,
so.
Exactly. So, okay, here's a little bit more stuff, though.
Yeah, okay.
Okay?
Mm-hmm.
So, remember how he captured 300 foxes and tied their tails together and
lit torches on them.
And blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, and they ran through the fucking fields and burned it all down.
Obviously, that's something that it's not likely that could have happened. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, like...
At all.
No.
Right.
So, here are what apologists say in order to make this be able to have happened.
Okay, all right.
Okay, so the word translated from foxes probably actually meant jackal.
Okay.
And jackals are known to run in large packs, sometimes up to 200.
So he captured an entire pack.
He might have captured an entire pack of jackals, not foxes. Okay, that's point one. Point two, there's nothing that says Samson did this all by himself. So,
but they imply it.
Right.
They imply it because God favors him. He did kill 1,000 people with a goddamn donkey jawbone by himself.
I'm going to get there.
I know, but I was stating that because he did that by himself.
Right.
And so the implication, as far as his chapters go, is that he was doing these things by himself.
So number 3 is there's nothing that he says that he did it all in one day. So we've turned, he captured 300 foxes and tied them all up and lit their tails as torches on fire.
Right.
We've now turned this into Samson and a bunch of his friends captured a pack not of foxes, but of
jackals
over the course of several days.
Okay.
So
I mean, so they're trying to make this realistic, but you can't make a guy killing 1,000 people with a donkey jawbone realistic.
I'm not there yet.
I know.
Let's only talk about the foxes for the moment.
The foxes. Okay, the foxes. How the fuck do you direct 300 goddamn foxes or jackals into the crops that you want to destroy?
Let me just ask you this: have you ever seen the movie Hatari?
Hatari, no.
It's one of what's that cowboy guy? That cowboy actor guy that my parents
Clint
love.
Eastwood?
No, the other one.
The other one.
The guy.
Yeah.
And he talks like this.
Yeah, John Wayne.
John Wayne, yeah, him. Okay, so it's a non-Western John Wayne, which there are like maybe only a handful of those. Okay, so anyway, part of his team captures a bunch of monkeys in a tree, and the way they do this is like they put they set off a rocket that carries a net over the tree.
Okay.
But the point being is that it was an ingenious way to capture all of these monkeys that had not been done before.
Sure.
And so that could be how.
Okay.
Okay.
Came up with some ingenious way.
Yeah. I'm just saying, like, the movie Hatari, in spite of the fact that I fucking hate John Wayne, I fucking love that movie.
Again, I don't buy it because everything about Samson, they're trying to prove his prowess and how fucking single-handedly he handles shit.
No, I totally agree with you.
I mean...
I totally agree with you. Are we ready to talk about the jawbone?
Let's talk about the fucking jawbone.
Okay.
Jesus Christ.
Okay, here we go.
Okay.
The jawbone that Samson found is described as fresh.
Okay.
So it's a fresh jawbone.
Okay, sure.
Okay, and you're like, who cares? What does that matter?
Right.
Well, it probably still has some flesh and skin on it, as well as some teeth.
Okay.
Okay?
Right.
Who cares, right?
Sure.
I don't care.
Yeah, I don't care.
Okay. A fresh bone has more durability and elasticity than a dried up dead bone, like that had been lying around in the sun for a really long time.
Is this like some sort of a justification of how he killed 1,000 people?
I'm not even done yet.
Because, I mean, 1,000 people.
No, just let me keep going.
All right. Okay. Yeah.
And so it made the weapon very formidable. Okay, right now we're just talking about the weapon itself, okay? Yeah.
The donkey jawbone. The formidable donkey jawbone.
Yes.
Okay. I got it.
And so it was extremely strong and thick and had a natural handhold between the front teeth and the cheek teeth.
The people that believe this are thick.
They are, okay? But I'm just telling you what I found, okay?
Okay. All right. Okay. Yeah.
So the donkey jawbones are so durable that there's a musical instrument made out of them that is used in traditional Mexican and Latin American music.
Ah.
The instrument is called the quijada de burro.
Interesting.
Yeah. So just so you know.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah. That's a thing.
All right.
Okay. Here we go. That's the jawbone.
Okay.
That's the jawbone. Okay. Yep. Here's how this might have actually gone down. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. First of all, there might have been a mistranslation, and he might not have actually killed them. He might have just struck them. Okay.
Okay.
So there's that.
Still.
Okay? Sure. Let me keep going.
Okay.
With his formidable, freshly laundered jawbone.
Right.
Okay. So then there's the fact that he's all tied up, right? So
with new ropes.
Right? Okay. So they probably didn't have any of their weapons drawn, because why would they, right?
Right, sure.
They were also in close quarters.
Uh-huh.
Because they were like all gathered up and getting at him.
Okay, but I want you to picture 1,000 people.
Oh, no, I know.
Close quarters, sure. Okay, sure. But 1,000 people.
Sure.
We lived in a town that had 1,000 people.
I know.
A whole fucking town.
I know.
Okay.
I'm just telling you what
I'm just saying. I'm just saying.
Okay, so the people in the back probably could not hear or see, to your point, what was happening in the front.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
So they just kept pressing forward.
No one said ouch?
Nobody said ouch, apparently. Okay. Also, in addition to the 1,000 Philistines that were coming at him,
right,
there was also these 3,000 Israelites on the periphery.
Sure.
And so the Philistines were probably very distracted.
Keeping track of them?
Yeah, keeping track of them. So they might not have had their eye on the ball, and then, they will get whacked with the jawbone.
Okay.
Okay?
Yeah.
So there's that. Okay, final point. Ready?
I'm ready.
This clinches it.
Okay, clinches it, huh?
Oh, no. No.
Okay.
But let's pretend. Okay?
Yeah, sure.
This was on a hill, and Samson was on the high ground, and the Philistines would have had to march uphill the entire way, and so they would have been tired and exhausted. So that's how it happened. So that's what happened. Okay? Do you believe?
I do not. I do not.
No?
There's no fucking way.
Okay, now I have an anecdote.
Okay.
Which I just found tremendously hilarious, being the literary nerd that I am.
Sure, yeah.
Okay, so apparently Oscar Wilde was giving a speech or a lesson or something to an American audience, and he became irritated during this lecture.
Yeah.
With the people in the audience uncomprehending what he was trying to say.
Sure.
And so he berated them and referred to them as Philistines.
Yeah.
And then a voice in the back of the room called out, "Yes, we are Philistines, and now I see why for the past hour you have been assaulting us with the jawbone of an ass."
That's a good retort. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I love me a good literary joke.
Yeah, no, that was really good.
That was good redemption.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Oscar Wilde.
Right.
You're an ass. And I love Oscar Wilde, please.
Right, sure.
Okay.
I have to say,
yes.
So, okay, with all these ridiculous stories that we have encountered along the way so far in the Bible, right?
Mm-hmm.
I find it really hard to believe that we're having so much fun with this freshly, because I've never heard anybody make fun of these before.
Right.
Like I've literally never heard anybody make fun of this shit.
Me neither.
And I'm hearing this all, like we're reading this
new.
all for the first time, and I'm like, what the everlasting fuck is going on with the fucking Bible? Because this is crazy.
This is all new material for us.
Yeah.
And I don't get it.
Right. Like, I would think that as prominent as Christianity is and Judaism is,
why have we never heard about this?
Yeah, this is crazy.
I mean, I know the name Samson and Delilah. I had no idea. We still haven't met Delilah.
Sure.
She's coming up. We haven't met her yet.
All right.
Okay?
Yeah.
So that's all I know. I've heard the name Samson and Delilah. I never heard anything about no fucking jawbone.
Right.
Why?
Well, I mean, I don't know. I mean, like, obviously there are, people made that comment in Oscar Wilde's presence or whatever, so it's something that has been known, is known, or whatever for people that read the Bible, I guess.
Okay, but we don't read the Bible, but we know about Noah's Ark.
Right. But I feel like there's like a active campaign by religions, by Christianity, to suppress the ridiculousness that is the Bible. Like it has to be active, because this is so absurd. It's just it's laughable.
Right.
How bad this is. It's
like they got most of the story swept under the carpet, but they couldn't keep them all under there, and so Noah's Ark got out.
Right. Well, and every time I've ever heard anybody talk about the Old Testament, they break it into small chunks,
mm-hmm.
and you hear them explain away these like one verse things, right?
Mm-hmm.
They don't read it all.
Right.
They don't take it all into context. They're like, well, this was this, and this means that, and da 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 da.
This was read to that
and
audience.
Don't think of this when this happens, but do this, and da 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 da.
Right.
And I'm like, no, dude, motherfucker killed 1,000 people with a fucking donkey bone? Come on. Come the fuck on. This is some bullshit.
Yeah. No, I totally agree.
Whatever. So, I'm sorry. I'm just venting a little bit.
I'm a little irate.
Right. All right. Well, anyway, that was some interesting information. I really appreciated that.
You're welcome.
And I guess we're done for today?
We are done for today. Tomorrow is Sunday, and that will be our replay. And then on Monday, we will be back for Judges chapter 16.
We will see you guys then.
Bye. Husband.
Yes, wife?
Remember how you told me we're on Patreon now?
Yeah, why?
Because we're starting something new for Patreon members only. Every couple of weeks, we'll cover something in the news, a current event, or something we feel strongly needs to be discussed. And only subscribers get to hear our discussion.
That's right. It's all for our Patreon members as a thank you for their support. Join now for as little as $2 a month to get all of our extra content. Go to patreon.com/sacrilegious discourse.
Do it now. Husband, it's the end.
It is indeed, wife.
Tell the people where they can contact us.
Well, they can get a hold of us via our email, which is sacrilegiousdiscourse@gmail.com. We have Twitter at sacrilegious_D.
For D's nuts.
Oh, why do you know? Why do you keep doing that? Ugh. All right, we have a Facebook page, an Instagram page, and a Pinterest page. But if you really want to get our attention, Twitter's where it's at.
Twitter is where you're at.
Yeah.
And they should also review, like, and subscribe, yeah?
Definitely. Apple Podcasts reviews help us out tremendously. And we also can use your support on Patreon, which is a great place to support us as well. That would be at patreon.com/sacrilegious discourse.
Don't forget to say thanks.
Thanks.
Okay, bye.
Bye.